Okay, this summary will be fairly short. I'm just going to have a couple of charts that we're just going to reflect back quickly on the things that we've covered and think about the life of David. And I'll go back to a chart that shows you all of the things that we covered in a minute, just to so we can be thinking about that. So Daniel thought and prayed before he acted. If we could get a chance to digest that character quality, I think it would definitely help us. Daniel served three different kings, Nebuchadnezzar, Belshazzar, and Darius, all in exile. He was in a foreign land. He was dependent on the Lord. He had his friends. Exile via his forced departure from Israel to the end of his life. He never made it back to Judah, to his homeland. And so this was something he had to live with. Daniel was faithful in prayer and his spiritual disciplines. Boy, talking about a prayer warrior and his connection to the Lord. And I think that's why he was given so many amazing visions, because he was really leaning into his relationship with the Lord. Daniel was faithful in prayer and his spiritual disciplines. Daniel was committed to his friends. He helped his friends to be put into leadership positions like himself. They were all had that ability, and they were all faithful. And we got a chance to be thinking about them in some of the vignettes we looked over. So he valued his friendships. He was well educated in both Judaism and Babylonian culture. And so thus, not only was he wise in the Lord and understanding of scripture, but he was wise in understanding the cultures of each. And so this was the things that it's okay for us to be educated and to be able to have as much information as we can to be able to wisely make good choices. And finally, Daniel was a leader. He was well-spoken and knew how to engage with powerful authority figures. So definitely someone that's a wonderful individual for us to focus on. Well, I went over this in the very beginning, so I won't do it again. In the last chart, I tried to give you some high points, but here we can just see he had a background, an elevated position, maybe an earl or a duke, if we were to think from a English Great Britain perspective. He had the importance of his faith. He served three kings. We get a chance to be thinking about the great things that he was able to accomplish. We also see this transition from Hebrew to Aramaic back to Hebrew, the way that Daniel is written, which I thought was also something that was noteworthy for us to consider. So I'll just show this one last chart just as a reminder of the things that we were focusing on. We gave an introduction, gave a perspective on Daniel. We then talked about these different vignettes, Daniel and his friends. So choosing not to eat the king's fine foods. Nebuchadnezzar's dream, he had to come up with what the dream was and interpret it. We see the faithfulness of Daniel's friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. We see Belshazzar's feast, which is the only thing we see for the second king that Daniel supported. Like with Nebuchadnezzar, he's promoted to a high position in that court. And then finally, we see how Daniel serves Darius, and we get a chance to see him in the lion's den. All right, well, thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure to be able to share this with you all.